Wisconsin exchange discussion. As was stated, my name is Jeremy Cox, and I'm stationed out of UW-Oshkosh, but I am the exchange coordinator for the entire Hessen program throughout the state. And the way that looks is, I guess, I'm the head honcho, and each of the individual 11 other colleges, or 11 other universities, has a representative of the Hessen program that I end up answering a lot of questions for. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of give you a background. So we have had an exchange program with Hessen since the 80s. I think it was 86 is when we had it signed, and it's actually a really neat program. From the standpoint that it is an exchange. It's an equal exchange. And what that basically means is you pay your tuition to your university, and then you pay for your flight to Germany. And other than incidental fees, housing, depending on when you're going, where you're staying, that's where your prices come in. It's really one of the most affordable of all of the exchange programs. Can range. We have a series, and I'll tell you about each of these individually. There's an ISU, which is an International Summer University, which is 4 weeks, an International Winter University known as the IWU, and that one lasts for 3 weeks. Each one of them, you pay your 6 credits. It depends on the university, and I'm not 100% sure how Stout does it, but most of them are paying the 6 credits. You'll only get 4 out of it, but you get a fantastic experience. And what it is with the IWU and ISU, it's 100% the housing is paid for by the German government. So it's kind of used as a promotion for them to get foreign students over there, just kind of get their feet wet. You do end up getting half of your credits are a German language. So if you speak 0 German, you'll get an introductory German. You'll be able to say a couple of things, some conversational German. If you are fluent in German, they will give you an advanced German course so that you're able to pick up even better the mild dialects and nuances of the language. And then you would end up taking a class of your desire. The way that it works for the Winter University, we have 3 of Hessen's 14. And well, let me take a step back. If you don't know where Hessen is, Frankfurt, Germany is the seat for Hessen. So think of Hessen as Wisconsin. So Wisconsin to the United States, Hessen is to Germany. So it's basically a state, with Frankfurt being the main city that's there. And anyway, the way that it works with the IWISU is the entire Hessen exchange is 14 universities to our 12, and we can go to any one of them. But for the IWU, the Winter University, which is basically our January interim, it happens typically just before New Year's, and then you're able to spend New Year's in Berlin, Frankfurt, other big cities to experience how they celebrate New Year's. That one in itself is completely paid for, the housing, by the German government. There's 3 of the 14 universities that utilize that. So at each of those 3, there's going to be a different primary course. Some of them may have 2 courses that you can choose from. So one might be arts and education, one might be business, one might be medical. We'd have to look online to tell you what each of those are right now. And since this is just really an introductory, just kind of filling you in on that. So that would happen during our January interim. Then we have 7 of the 14 universities have the International Summer University. That usually happens, and it's kind of staggered between those 7 universities, starting from June to July, runs 4 weeks. And they have renewable energies during that one. They have engineering. So if you want to learn, if your career has you doing some type of engineering, you actually get to visit BMW, just various engineering facilities to learn more about that. So those are our 2 very short-term programs. Then the German semester is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is they have what's called the winter semester and the summer semester. Their winter semester ties to our fall semester. Their summer semester ties to our spring. but it's staggered. And what I mean by that is their winter semester hasn't started yet. So you guys are in school and their winter semester really doesn't start until October. Likewise, their summer semester doesn't start until the end of February. So there's that discrepancy there, makes it a little bit hard for our students to actually go for our fall semester because it runs into our spring semester. So when I have students that want to do that, they usually go for a full year. Otherwise, they focus on the spring semester. They're able to stay around here until after Valentine's Day with their sweetheart, and then head over to Germany for the semester. The other thing is, with one of their universities, Marburg, Marburg has set up a special program just for American students. I should say just for Americans, but primarily for Americans, called the IUSP. And the IUSP is an international, it's a special program that ties in directly with our semesters. So if you wanted to be in that, you can take that for a semester or a full year, and that starts exactly when our semester starts and ends when our semester starts. The way they do that is a little bit different. That since they're not running classes that first, month before you would start, they fill that up with a German language course. So you have a German intensive for that entire month. Then they go into your classes. Usually you're choosing, 3 to 4 classes to take during that semester. And you would take them from the beginning until 3/4 of the way into the semester, which is when you're ready to leave. You wouldn't finish the semester there, but what they end up doing is they test you at that point in time. So you still get the credits that you're looking for. It's just they test you 3/4 of the way through the semester. So those are your 3 primary options: your IUSP, which I just talked about, which is tied in with our semester, the regular German semester, and then the winter and summer sessions, the 3 and 4 week sessions, which the IWU, which is 3 weeks in January, and the ISU, the International Summer University, which is in the July range for 4 weeks. We have one other option that is offered through Middle Hessen, and that is an internship. They have various programs for that internship. Engineering is a big one, but they also have it within nursing and a few other options. And the way that works is you actually go there. Their internships are really unique because it's actually tied into the education system. So usually what you're doing while you're interning at one of these companies is you're actually writing if I can, a term paper. So there's a specific topic that you'll be writing it on, and then you actually present it to your boss. And that's how you get your credits, is you're actually graded that way. And it's a great opportunity. If you don't speak any German whatsoever, you can still take that. It's a little harder to get into the program because there's only special degrees, if you would, special internships that would allow you to go with minimal German. However, you can, if with any of these, you can actually go 1 month early. You have to pay extra for the housing, but you can get a German intensive 4-week language class that is paid for by the German, the German college. It's free to you other than the housing, room and board. So those are kind of your 4 main ways then. So once again, ISU, IWU, the IUSP, the regular semester, and the internship. Now, overall, with the internship, you're going to get paid a stipend, which is a good thing. With all of these, except for the internship, with all the other programs, you do have the possibility of having a in-home living arrangements, which is fantastic because you're going to be able to live with a German family and learn some nuances to the language. You're going to get to go. The families in the past have loved having us there, so they've had our students actually travel with them. So they decide that they're going to be going to Innsbruck for the weekend and say, would you like to come with? guess what? You're in Austria for the weekend. So just lots of great opportunities. And like I said, one of the more affordable of the exchange programs that I'm going at any of our Wisconsin universities. Our 3-week programs range from about $3,500 to our 4-week programs, maybe around $4,500. But I don't want to say that's high end, but that includes about $1,100 flight over the pond, so to speak. And if you're using Student Universe or some other places, I've had students that have been able to get tickets for $500, $550, which makes your overall program $3,000 to $4,000 for basically 6 credits, 5 to 6 credits. So just fantastic opportunity. One thing I do like to tell any students that are interested is really Frankfurt is one of the busiest airports in the world, and you can get anywhere from Frankfurt. They tend to kind of a lot of the Germans are very environmental, and they look at us Americans as being a little anti-environment because we would have no problem jumping on an airplane and going from point A to point B. Their air flight tends to even be cheaper than their train travel at times. So case in point, say that you were like, you know what, I haven't done any traveling. I'm over here in Germany. You know what, now I can mark Europe off my list. It'd be really cool if I could mark Africa off my list. Guess what? For about $270 round trip, you can fly out of Frankfurt to Casablanca. And you could spend the weekend in Casablanca enjoying the spice markets and just having a good time there. Fly back. Now you've got 2 continents off your list. If you're really a spendthrift and you don't mind Ryanair, I personally don't have anything against Ryanair. I've heard people complain about it, but you can actually fly out of Frankfurt to Berlin, or excuse me, to Dublin for $67. So you could actually fly into the heart of Ireland for $67 round trip, stay at a youth hostel, enjoy a little time in downtown Dublin, and maybe for at the most, I say at the low end for $100, you could be there for a weekend and come back and experience Ireland. Just some great opportunities for you. Let's see what else I can tell you about it. The climate in Germany is very similar to ours. I would say it's just a slight bit warmer. You're typically going to be dealing maybe 10 degrees warmer in the winter than it is here. They do still get snow, depending on where you are. In the Hessen area, not as much. It's usually going to be a dusting, maybe a little bit of snow. You get a little bit higher up there because there's going to be more snow. But it's very similar climate-wise to here. In fact, when I was over there driving the countryside and seeing all of the Holstein cows, it looked just like Wisconsin. Other than it was a little bit more rolling hills, so maybe a little more like southeastern Wisconsin, southwestern Wisconsin. So anyway, with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. Anyone have any questions?
And I think we're a small enough group that obviously students can add questions to the chat if they're more comfortable that way. But I think we could also probably accommodate students to turn on their microphones and just ask questions if anybody feels confident and comfortable doing that.
Yeah, this is just very loose, and anyone can add wherever they want to, and I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Hey there, I had a question.
Yeah.
So I'm currently a freshman and I'm an undecided major, and
Sure.
I'm just in the beginning stages of just looking at studying abroad, and Germany's a place that's kind of always interested me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm undecided right now, but I'm kind of leaning towards business.
Sure.
And I guess I was just kind of wondering, is there a specific school that's best for that? I know I kind of looked at it, and it looks like there's one in Fulda, Germany that I like, but the website's all in German, so I can't really understand a lot of it.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. Fulda has one. Marburg. Phillips. JLW. There's just most of them have business. That's one that's real easy to get you into. If you told me that you're going into nursing, then I'm very limited. But for that, you're very well open. Are you primarily looking to do a short term or a full semester? Do you have a thought on that?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure yet because honestly, another reason Fulda interests me is during my senior year in high school, I met
Yeah,
this girl that I became really, really good friends with. She was a foreign exchange student from Fulda, Germany.
fantastic.
And while I was actually looking at the options for Stout's exchange programs, I had to do a double take when I saw Fulda on that list. I was like, are you kidding me? Because I know Fulda's not, from what she's told me about it, I know it's not a huge city. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. How is this even one of my options? I was like, out of all the places in the world. So I was like, now it's got me really interested. So, and
Absolutely.
honestly, it's really hard to say how long I'd want to go there for. Because
Yeah,
obviously I'm still starting my time here at Stout and I'm still even
right.
getting my classes here figured out. So
Sure.
like I don't even know like even a time frame of when I would want to take this exchange program. So I don't know if there's any sort of like recommendation for a business major.
Sure, sure. Well, let me
I
kind of touch
guess
on that for you. So basically, we have students that go anywhere from their second semester freshman year all the way up to their senior year. Where that just kind of comes into play is how flexible you are. Obviously, the earlier in your program that you go, the more flexibility you have because
sure.
if you've already taken the majority of your classes or you've taken all of your electives and now you're trying to fit something in that maybe will only count as an elective. It's almost like, I mean, you get the great experience, but you might, not get the credits the way you would want them. Versus if
Right.
you go over there earlier, you're able to really be able to mix and match where your credits are appointed. So that's the one benefit to that. Whether you go for a 4 week program in the summer, which is highly recommended, or if you went for a full semester, that kind of is up to you. Each of the universities are very unique. Most of them, out of the 14, I believe 10 of them offer a very, very dense amount of English spoken courses. Of the other ones, now you'd have to contact them individually and talk to them, but and this doesn't sound like this is within your realm. It sounds like maybe other people, but like if you were going into architecture or fine arts such as performance arts, music, chorus, that type of thing, most of those are taught only in German. However, many of the courses are set that if there's an English speaker, they'll convert the class over to English. So they're very accommodating to English speakers in Germany. As for your program, Fulda is fantastic. Um, I would say close to a quarter of my students end up going there. And here's the neat thing: is when you become a student in Germany, you get basically a free pass for travel, train, bus. And what it is you're able to travel anywhere within Hessen and in some cases a little bit outside of Hessen, free of charge. You just jump and go. Fulda isn't that far. I mean, it is a little bit remote, but typically within an hour you're going to be able to be in Frankfurt. So that's kind of the great thing about it. The other real neat thing, I'll throw this out there. So summer and winter, the 3 week and 4 week course, those are the only ones where your attendance is mandatory. I hate to say this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. So with those, it's very intense, and you're in school from point A to point B. And then they also have cultural elements that happen outside of school, which is fantastic. They've got trips for you on the weekends. I think in the summer of your 4 weekends are kind of spoken for doing some tours. That fourth one you can tour how you want to. Now you go into a semester like the IUSP or the traditional semester, and the Germans just feel, you know what, you're an adult, you're paying for this, you deal with it. So if you decided that you were going to disappear for 4 days and you were going to say take Tuesday through the following Monday off, and you were gonna, hit Paris up, Antwerp, maybe go up to Stockholm and just do a kind of a whirlwind tour. They trust that you're adult enough to take advantage of doing your studying on the train or whatnot. And your grades, they don't have active tests going on throughout the entire semester. They only grade you on your final exam. So essentially, you need to make sure that you keep up with that, but it does give you some latitude to do some travel, or if an opportunity comes up for something else and you need to skip that class, as long as you're keeping up and you're comfortable where you're at with that, you do have quite a bit of latitude. Now, did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I think if it does answer my question, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's hard to say for sure right now, but maybe if I were to pick a general time frame, maybe something that aligns up with our fall semester, with the fall semester in the United States.
Sure.
Something like that. Because 4 weeks seems a little bit short.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for something that aligns with that, then you'd be looking at Marburg. And Uni Marburg is going to end up being that IUSP. Right now, they're the only ones of the 14 that offer that. I keep begging them to add another 1 or 2 of the universities. But it's a very popular program. Like I said, that one, you would arrive there basically at the start of our semester. They put you into a German intensive, and then you go from there into your 3 to 4 classes like a traditional semester. And then you're going to end in December, be back here for Christmas time. The neat thing about that is you're also able to experience their Christmas market, which is beyond anything you'll ever experience. It's wonderful. So that's what you'd be looking at if you were going to end up doing that. Now, okay. I'm going to throw one other thing in there that you may have to do a little juggling, but it may work. Is we actually have the opportunity that you could take an international summer university, take a pre-semester German, which is included. You'd have to pay extra for your housing, but that class is actually paid for by the German government. So you'd take that 1 semester, and then you'd go into a more advanced German for the start of the IUSP and finish out the semester. So essentially what you'd do is you would end up having 6 credits for your summer university. You'd end up picking up, 2 to 3 credits for your 1 month or your 1 semester, or excuse me, your 1 month German, and then you'd end up picking up your full 12 credits then for your full semester, and you could theoretically line that up and be there for roughly 6 months. Without having to, leave and come back, so it's on 1 flight and you're picking up, essentially 18 credits, as long as you're able to work that out with, with your admission at Stout.
Sure. I guess one more question. I like that university. What's the semester in the Fulda University? What one does that align up with?
So for Fulda, because they don't have the IUSP, they're the traditional German semesters. So like I said, what would line up with our fall semester basically starts in October and goes through January. And then, toward the end of January. So you would end up actually missing a couple of weeks of your spring semester. So you would have to figure out how, and actually it might be early February, you'd have to figure out how to juggle that if that was even possible. Right. The other option then would be for your spring semester. In the spring semester, that one's going to end up starting the end of February and going through into June. And so because of that doesn't interfere with any of our semesters. You would just have, basically be in the United States and Wisconsin a little bit longer, maybe working during that month before school starts, or you can actually fly out a month early, pay for a month more of housing, but then you get that free German class.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's probably something I'd have to take up with my advisor here at Stout to see exactly what semester or program would be best.
Absolutely. And you know, each school looks at things a little bit different. Each of our universities has their own way of handling it. So yeah, I would say definitely talk directly with your advisor on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that helped a lot, actually. Thanks so much for the answers.
Fantastic. And, you know, certainly talk with your advisor on that, talk with your international department. They can give you more information. And I'm always available. Just give a call to the UW-Oshkosh international office if you have more questions directly for me. I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hi, Jeremy. This is Andrea Morse. How are you? Hi.
Great. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm so glad you could do this session today. And I just wanted to let students know that I'm here to help advise you, after today. This is a lot of great information, a lot of acronyms to remember, but I'm I'm happy to help you sort it all out. I've actually had the privilege of visiting 12 of the Hessen universities. The only one I didn't go to was the music one, and then well, that's the only one I think I didn't go to.
I think when you went there were only 13. They added a 14th this year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm happy to, talk to students about, the Studium Plus, through the internship option through Middle Hessen, talk about Fulda.
Yes.
We had a student go to Geisenheim and Frankfurt all in 1 year, which was, he had a great experience. And in terms of what Jeremy was just talking about, going in fall or the spring, if it's the typical German semester, the fall really is difficult. Like Jeremy said, you would be missing a couple weeks of the semester in spring, which really wouldn't be permitted. So if you were to do that, your options would be to maybe line up a co-op in the spring semester that maybe you could start sometime in February or March when you return. But you don't want to just not be enrolled because then you'd have to take a leave of absence. You'd have to return your laptop. It's not ideal. If you're not enrolled full time or at least part time, and your financial aid loans start going into repayment. So it's really important, if you want to go in fall term, either plan to go the entire year or plan on a co-op when you come back, or you maybe want to consider for the spring semester. But of course, if you're doing the IUSP program in Marburg, then you won't have any issue with the academic terms.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah. Also, if I could just point out on our website where students can go to find just sort of a summary of the academics, because I know there's a lot of options to choose from. So I just wanted to show my screen really quick. So if you go to uwstout.studioabroad.com, you can click on, I'll just go there. You can click on the exchange button and then navigate to the Hessen-Wisconsin Exchange. And here you'll find information about the program. Now in the overview tab, you'll find just a brief overview of each of the universities. But then in the academics tab, you'll find information about the terms. And then a summary of the academic programs offered at the university. That'll kind of give you a starting point. Because I know there was a question earlier, where could I go for, is it business, I think? So here we have, Gießen, there's business. Fulda, there's business. So that'll maybe just give you a starting point.
That's great.
And Jeremy, I wasn't here for the whole presentation. I had to toggle back and forth. Did you already talk about what housing is like in Germany? Because it is quite different.
I talked briefly about being in-house, so to speak, being able to stay with an exchange family. But yeah, the way that it works in Germany is you're going to have various options depending on if you're going semester, if you're going for one of the IUSPs, or excuse me, semester IUSP, or if you're going to do an IWISU. If you're doing one of the short-term programs, they will put you up in either a hotel, a hostel, or like I said, staying with a family in-house. All of those options are 100% paid for by the German government, and they'll usually include 1 to 2 meals within that, which is just fantastic for our students. If you're going for the semester, you're going to end up being responsible for renting an apartment. And they actually have Student Works, which is their housing facility, basically. It's private. It's not through the university itself, but you'll contact them. You'll tell them what you're looking for, and they'll get you placed then within a something within your price range, because it's just like, it's not like going to a dorm and pretty much, if you're in dorm A, B, C, or D, you're paying the same amount. They've got various options of where you can live, the proximity to the campus, to be able to pay for that. But it's pretty easy. They take care of us real well. You'll have an advisor as soon as you're accepted at that university. Say that it's Fulda. As soon as you're accepted there, their advisor will contact you and tell you what your next steps are and exactly what you need to do, and they'll get to working with Student Works. Thanks, Andrea. That was a great question. Anyone else have any other questions? All right. Well, I'll give you kind of my last spiel again about Germany. It's really it's the heart of Europe. It's beautiful there, winter or summer. It's like here, but milder. But certainly, if you go in the winter, you're going to be able to find a place to go skiing if you're a skier. If you love hiking, in the summer semester, you're going to find plenty of places to hike, kayak, stand-up paddleboard. I mean, you name it. It's a paradise that way. The students that have went there have absolutely loved the fact that they didn't have to know a stitch of German to get around. I'll share an experience that I had. So my family is from Luxembourg, and we speak Luxembourgish. I not so much, a little bit, enough to be dangerous. So I went to a little town called Trier, right along the Mosel River, and I had been there a couple of times and was having a hard time finding a landmark called the Black Gate, which dates back to the Roman Empire in 300s. And I saw 2 young ladies, probably college age, walking down the street. And I went up to them with my wife, and I said, do you speak German? I said, I mean, do you speak English? Because I said, I don't speak a lot of German. And the one went, little. And I went, okay, I said, and I kind of showed her my map, and I said, I'm looking to find, Porto Negra. She goes, oh yeah, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go 3 blocks down here. You're going to take a right, and then you're going to go 2 blocks. You're going to come into a public square, and if you look left, you'll see it right there. And I looked at her, and I was like, only a little German, and she started laughing, or only a little English, and she started laughing, and she's like, only a little. So I didn't have any problems running into anyone that could speak English, except for, believe it or not, and I feel horrible saying that I went into a McDonald's in Germany. The person working in McDonald's could not speak English, so I was just, I pointed, I gave, I'll take a number 4, but I was able to get my meal just fine. So it's just a great opportunity, and as strictly an English speaker, you will survive just fine, especially the fact that they're going to be giving you a little bit of a German language course if you do the IUSP or the ISU, IWU. It's just fantastic, and I would really hope that we could get you guys to go there. Obviously, with COVID, some things are up in the air right now. We don't know if there will be an IWU this year, the 3-week class. We're not sure. Only 2 of the 3 have committed to running it, but they're on the cusp of not knowing for sure what's happening. Once their semester starts, they'll see what happens health-wise. They may have an option that they would be able to do it online. I know that's not the same as being in Germany, but it would be an opportunity to get the credits, to be able to experience at least, their classes, the world-class education that they do have. Likewise, for spring, we are accepting spring applications for the IUSP as well as the spring semesters. But once again, that's one of those things that they're not 100% sure if it's going to be fully run, if it's going to be a hybrid, or if it's going to be online. So it's very similar to how our colleges here are running. If something were to happen and they were to change its format, deferral has been 100% acceptable. So if you were scheduled to go for spring and had to defer to the next spring, we will accept that and it's not a problem. Or if you decided to defer until the fall semester, just waiting one semester, it's not going to be a problem. We're going to be able to accommodate that. Anyone have any other questions? Sky's the limit.
I will add, and I'll just share my screen here. We are, of course, able to take questions at a later date and time. So I should be sharing information about how to connect with our study abroad team in the future, whether that is later today via email or setting up a time, or rather visiting the Ask an Advisor sessions during the fair today, or setting up an appointment for the future, or even just visiting our websites and information that will be available. But we are going to have a recording of this presentation, or this chat is maybe better term for it. There will be a presentation that we will post onto those pages in the coming days. But you have a study abroad team who is here to help you guys if you have questions, want more information, and of course they can always help connect you to Jeremy if he's the right person for the questions at the time. So this is just a great opportunity to connect with somebody now. So if you have any questions, take advantage of this. Of course, if you don't have any questions, that's allowed too.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we can call that no questions.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
And thank you to all of the students who joined us today and asked questions. Hope we were able to get you the information you need.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a great opportunity, and I thank you guys for allowing me to come here and be able to chat with you a little bit about Hessen. Honestly, it's just a great low cost opportunity to do an exchange and to be put in the center of Europe where you can on a weekend just do some amazing touring. You want to go to Budapest? Go to Budapest. It's just fantastic. Keep that in mind. I sure hope that you'll take advantage of this, talk to Andrea and her team, and just get a little bit more update. And we'll love to see you apply and be a part of this great program.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
All right. I am going to end our recording.